Reflections with Marilyn Baker. Brought to you by Torch Trust, the Christian organisation with a vision for people with sight loss.
Hello and welcome to Reflections from Torch Trust, the show that focuses on faith and disability in today's world. I'm Marilyn Baker and it's wonderful to have your company. Over the last few weeks, we've been thinking about and hearing from people who have been bringing us sports this summer. Last week on Reflections from Torch Trust, we heard from Dave Clark, the CEO of Paralympic GB. And in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be chatting with the International Olympic Committee about the coming Paralympic Games. This week, we hear from Hazel Dudley, a blind sports fan who shares her experience of getting out and about to watch sport and the importance of Jesus in her life too.
Reflections from Torch Trust.
Well, it's great to have you on the show, Hazel, and I know that many people will have heard you already. You used to work for In Touch, didn't you?
I did. I was
on the
reporter.
BBC. A reporter? Yep. What did they used to do? Send you out?
Oh, they used to send me out. I wasn't a reporter at this time. The last daft thing they got me to do was to go to Glastonbury.
Wow.
The question was, could a blind person go there alone?
And sort of manage?
Well, I'm not only a blind person, but I'm a princess. So definitely not.
Oh, a princess? You didn't like all the mud, you mean?
Oh, no, I didn't. No, not at all.
And did you manage? Did you go?
I did go, and I did stay all weekend, but by golly. And when I got home, I was in the shower in 10 minutes.
Oh, I see.
Then eating chocolate.
That was the rescue remedy, wasn't it?
That's right. I learned a lot, to get out and do things that you wouldn't otherwise do and be paid for it. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a good programme, really, and it's been going for a long time. Now, I know that you're a great sports enthusiast, and there's a lot of sports going on at the moment. Now, when did you first start getting interested in all that?
My dad used to be interested in it. So really, I suppose, listening to sport, because my dad was partially deaf. He had to have the radiogram at the time. He had to have it on fairly loud. And once we went to the television, he had to have that on fairly loud. So it was a question of, oh my goodness, he's taking over the whole house because he's got sport on. So, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's it. and there's one particular sport, isn't there, that captures your heart?
Oh, yes.
The most?
Liverpool. Football.
Football?
Liverpool Football Club is my passion. In fact, when we won the league a few years ago, 2020, I actually have dyed my hair red. It's still red.
Is it really?
Yep.
Now, you say you love them. Of course, you live actually in the south. You live in Wimbledon. So, I mean, do you travel to their events to Liverpool?
Oh, definitely. All the home games. I'm a proud season ticket holder. It was quite fortunate because at the beginning of the 90s, I didn't go till then. It suddenly occurred to me, well, you can go to football. I didn't really know if you could, but I thought, well, at least let me go once. If I don't understand it and I can't go for any reason, or have a really awful time, at least let me have put my body inside Anfield.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Well, I did that. I didn't have any commentary. I had just listening to the fans around me.
Wow.
And we won. We beat Aston Villa 3-1. And I thought, oh, that's good wheeze. Anyway, I then found out that the Voluntary Association of the Blind in Liverpool gave tickets out to blind supporters. And I got in touch with them. Every now and then we would get tickets, perhaps every 2 or 3 months. And the lady who dealt with the tickets actually gave tickets to me and this other guy, particularly because she knew that, well, come hell or high water, we would be there. Snow, ice, anything, where some people wouldn't. And then they offered us season tickets for £25, which,
incredible.
would have been rude to said no.
It would.
But
it would.
then we then said, no, actually, we would sooner pay the correct price. We don't pay the correct price because I think they think that we don't get the correct service, and neither do we really, but there you go, it's a service.
I mean, you said there was no commentary now, and you just heard the fans around you. I
did.
I mean, that must have been pretty exciting to hear the fans all
exciting.
around you.
Yeah, it was exciting, really.
But you still didn't get the commentary. Now, what about if you went to a football match now? Would you get any commentary?
Yes, most clubs do have commentary now. Some of them are better than others. We have commentary from, when I say we, that this is Liverpool, we have commentary from the web, our website, and you can hear that at home as well. But the problem I have with it, as with many commentaries, is that they have a summariser. And while the game is going on, sometimes they're saying, he should have scored that, and why didn't he do this, and why didn't he do that?
Well, they're discussing it. They're discussing it, aren't they?
Meantime, the game is being played. So I think that's terribly unfortunate. However, I did, for my sins, go to the Champions League final, which we did not win, in Paris a couple of years ago. And there was commentary that I can only describe as second only to seeing, I would think. My favourite BBC commentator was always Alan Green, but he would tell you a good picture of what was going on, on the pitch. However, this commentary that I'm speaking of now is from Alan March Sports. And what they've trained their commentators to do is to actually tell you everything that is going on. Now, when I was in Paris, I fortunately did not get caught up amongst the crushes that were going on outside. I was in the stadium. I was sat there on a balcony. There was a firework display before the game happened, which these people described. And as they told you all the colours of the fireworks, I could feel the heat of the fireworks as they, went up into the sky. Oh, it was just wonderful. Absolutely superb. And it's a pity that every club doesn't have this commentary. But
now, what is this commentary? Can you tell us about this Alan March commentary?
Alan March Sports. They read out, first of all, the people who are, the lineups of the teams. And they tell you where the ball is, who has got the ball. And that's what you want to know.
Yes, you do. Now, I mean, how do you get it, though? What is, the way of coming across this?
Well, for different clubs, they have to pay. And I think that is probably why most of them don't use it. The commentators, I understand, have to live within an hour's distance of the stadium for which they're commentating. And this is so that they can have a standby, so that, say, your regular commentator falls ill, what are you going to do? You can't race up and down the country and find somebody else. So you need 2 or 3 that are going to be within an hour of the stadium. They get special training and go from there.
But what about actually accessing it?
Accessing it, you get headsets.
At the stadiums?
Yes, you get a headset, you get headphones, and that's it, you're away.
And what about your guide dog? Did you ever take her with you?
My guide dog, yes, I did. I think she was a bit disturbed when we scored goals sometimes, and she would jump up with us. But she used to like it there. I mean, she used to love the fuss. And I would not have taken her had she been worried by it, but she wasn't. She just laid underneath the chair, and that was it.
She got excited, eh?
Yeah.
Did you ever meet any of the team when you went to football in Liverpool?
Did, yes. I like to go really early, and I like to be in there 2 hours before kickoff, and that's the chance that you get to meet some of the older players, ex-players, but they're probably ambassadors. I mean, like Kenny Dalglish is an ambassador, so I've met him. Robbie Fowler was one of our top scorers, and I've met him, because it's all not autographs these days, it's selfies. You have to have a selfie done with them. In fact, in February, I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of the current squad, Mo Salah, and our lovely, lovely boss, Jurgen Klopp. I mean, no longer our boss, but he was then, and it was wonderful. So
Yeah.
it's quite an experience.
Yeah, so you've really got involved with that, and you didn't find the travelling too daunting because it is quite away from you.
Well, it is, but up until the time that I actually fell out of a train at Waterloo and broke my leg, I didn't really find it very terribly daunting. But, you know,
Falling off a train does sound rather daunting, though.
yes, it was really. My leg was swelling. They put me in an ambulance and my leg was swelling because I was on my way to Liverpool, actually. And the nurse said to me, I'm going to have to cut those trousers. I said, pardon? She said, I'm going to have to cut them. You'll never get them off. Your leg's swelling. I said, you watch me. You don't cut those. They are my Liverpool trousers. And I think she thought I was worried about my modesty. I wasn't. But anyway, I did get them off.
Yeah, no, I mean, falling off a train just briefly, is this when you were getting on the train that you fell, or was it, I mean, how could you fall off a train like that?
Well, I was at Wimbledon. I was going to Waterloo. And the Wimbledon people had said to me, do you want somebody to meet you at Waterloo? And I said, yes. So therefore, I assumed that that's what they would do. Unfortunately, it was a Sunday and the train stopped at a different part on the platform. So there was a bigger gap than I had expected. My dog got out. As he got out, I thought, well, I'll get out then, even though nobody was there. But my foot only just touched the side of the platform and it sort of concertinaed downwards. So I broke my leg in about 3 places, I think.
I'm glad that you managed to get back to travelling. I mean, I've had some hazardous things happen recently and it can knock your confidence. But anyway, recently, I know you've been somewhere quite exciting, not to do with football. You've been to Wimbledon. I mean, you live in Wimbledon anyway, don't you? But
well, I do. Yes, Wimbledon have a channel which you can listen to at home. You download it from the App Store and you can listen to it. Then when I went to Wimbledon, I asked them if they had commentary and they gave me a little headset and that was tuned to Wimbledon and it had 2 courts that you could have chosen. One was centre court, but I didn't choose that because I was on court 1. And that was brilliant. I was really glad to have it. And it was absolutely brilliant.
You said Euros too have had commentary, haven't they?
Yes, Euros have had commentary from Alan March Sports, and that's the only thing that made me interested in them.
Do you know if there's going to be any real commentary with the Olympics?
That I do not know. The trouble is, I think there are so many sports in the Olympics, and really you have to be quite dedicated to commentate in that sort of manner.
You do, yes, and all the different areas of the Olympics and the Paralympics too, and they are exciting. I tend to like having that on the TV if we're going to have it on with friends with me who can perhaps give me some idea of what's happening. I like it then, and I'm very proud of the Paralympians too. I like it when we have discussions afterwards on Radio 4, I think they had one, and Channel 4 they did. And
Right.
I remember it really affected the way people thought about people who had disabilities. I think they could see
Definitely.
people so active.
You know, we all do it, don't we, really? The sort of typecast people. Often somebody will say to me, oh, you know, I know this blind person and they did this and they did that. Or on the contrary, they'll go, oh, do you mind if I help you? And I go, no. Why? Or, you know, I'm sort of amazed. And they go, oh, well, because the last blind person I tried to help, they said this and they said, oh, and I thought, oh, no. But this is me, I go. When we're on the cruises, people want to help us. And they're brilliant. I mean,
now that's interesting. When you're on the cruises, so you go cruising, do you?
I do. A
Yeah?
lot.
A lot.
A lot.
You
A
love
lot.
cruising.
I love it. I love it.
I find that rather amazing that you do that. I suppose if you went often enough, they'd get to know you, would they?
They do. Unfortunately, legislation has a lot to answer for. They've tightened up a lot. Now, when Wayne, my husband, he and I went for the first time, it was 2008. And we got help. Nobody said anything. No, we told them we were blind. That was it. End of. We even managed to go on a world cruise. no fuss, no bother. I had quite a bad accident. A guy was helping me, a member of staff, I think was a bit late. He was rushing. It wasn't his fault, actually. Accidents happen. But he managed to help me fall over a tiny step and I broke an elbow. It wasn't pleasant. But at the end of the month, when I was at home, I got a call from the solicitor saying that I couldn't go anymore. And I said, why? And he said, well, I've got to think of the staff and this has happened to you and you might sue. And I said, well, I won't. I said, because accidents happen. So I said, well, I've been traveling for 2 years, which I had at the time. I said, how many accidents have I had and how many times has this occurrence happened? And he said, none. So I said, well, I rest my case. And so did they. But legislation being what it is, the latest ship that we've been on, we put down that, yes, we would like an orientation tour because we didn't know the ship. But then it came out as, it was like Chinese whispers, it came out as, if you can't get from A to B to our satisfaction, you do not travel. And we've been cruising for 18 years. And it's not difficult to find your way around a ship. When you want to go from the front end to the back end of the ship, what you do is you go in the corridors with the staterooms in them. So on one side of the corridor, there is a rail. You guide yourself with it. And any turns that happen, you turn. And the lifts all make a noise. They ding bells, or you can hear people at the lifts. So you know where they are.
No, well, I think you are a very enterprising person, and I think some people might find it a lot more difficult than others, and especially if it was someone, say, that had lost their sight later in life.
Oh, yes.
That would be a bit harder.
Yeah, I can understand.
I think you are very, enterprising and very able. Well, it sounds like you have a good time generally on these cruises. Last but not least, how do you find your faith helps you as you sort of navigate through life? I know you're a Christian. And
Yeah.
I know that you have lots of fun being a Christian and
Indeed.
your life is never dull. But how do you find your faith has really helped you to be who you are today, do you think?
I think Jesus accepts me for who I am or what I am. I have never, to my knowledge, not been a Christian. I mean, I did have a few years of rebellion. I mean, why not when you're a teenager? But there's always been something, and Jesus accepts you. And I think if I was talking to my younger self, I would say, because I was very shy, I felt at one time that I was actually removed from a school. And I felt that nobody liked me at that school. If I knew now, and I'd known it then, I would have said, it doesn't matter because, I am who I am. Jesus accepts me. And if he accepts me, what worry have I got for anything else? After I broke my leg, I was seriously worried about traveling. I didn't think that I would do it. In fact, I was nervous that whether I would walk properly. I did. And so I suppose it's like an unspoken thing that Jesus is looking at me. We used to, at church, have a prayer clinic. I had to go somewhere after it had happened. I had reason to be in London. So I was going to go to the very Waterloo, which is where I had fallen out of the train. And I thought, I can do it. But all of a sudden, I thought, I can't. I just can't do it.
I understand that, yeah.
So I asked for prayer. I said, could you pray for me that I will do it, at least do it. I want to do it and I need prayer. And then one of the, well, I mean, she's very old now, but she was older at the time and came to me and said, I'll go to Waterloo with you. I'll see that you're okay. And, that did it.
I get that because when I had a fall recently with my guide dog and all that, I so prayed before I went out and tried the route again, the very same route like you did. And on the way, somebody actually met me that I knew and offered to walk with me through the scaffolding and everything like that. And I thought, thank you, Lord, you sent somebody to help me and encourage me. I think for me anyway, in my faith, it's the friendship with Jesus that I love, that I can talk to him, that he puts little thoughts in my head, sometimes very surprising ones. And he loves it when we have joy. I think the thing about you is you have so much fun and you really go for it in your life. And I think he loves that and he enjoys partying with you. That's what I think. He turned the water into wine, didn't he? So it's been great chatting to you, and you are an inspiration. We wish you all the best as you carry on doing the world cruises and traveling and going to various events. And we hope we can chat and catch up with you again sometime.
Yeah, indeed. Be good.
Great stuff. Bye for now, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Reflections from Torch Trust.
Our thanks to Hazel once again for chatting to me about her experiences of encountering sports, travel and Jesus here on Reflections from Torch Trust. It's time now for our thought for the week, which is about trusting God and learning to dance too. It's written by Rachel Dolby and read to us by Sarah Hamilton.
I love to dance. And actually, I've had lots of dance lessons over the years. It all started with a friend at university inviting me to join a ballroom dancing class. Of course, it wasn't the dancing she was interested in, but meeting eligible young men from another college campus. Sadly, mostly for my friend, we only met juveniles with 2 left feet, but I really enjoyed trying to learn the steps and listening to different types of music. Anyway, I'm now in my 40s, and when time allows, I still enroll in dance classes from time to time. But before you start reckoning up the potential entertainment value of one who has had so many lessons, I'm afraid to say that I'm not a very good dancer. You see, despite having had many lessons over the years, I'm very bad at remembering the right steps. It doesn't seem to matter how many classes I attend or how much I practice, I still stumble around like a beginner when I get brave enough to venture out onto a dance floor at a wedding or another social occasion. This is a matter of great frustration for me. When I was a child, my parents had very high expectations of me, and I was taught to strive for perfection in everything. Discipline was very tight, and there was a strong emphasis on getting everything right under my own steam. Now, in my adult years, this quest for personal perfection lives on in my own consciousness. Thankfully, one way I can look better on a dance floor is by partnering with someone who knows the right steps. But it's never easy to move my pride out of the way in order to let them guide me. The thought of allowing someone else to be in control of anything I do is very uncomfortable. Over the years, though, I've learned that I can't achieve perfection on my own, and unless I want to look like Bambi skating on ice, both on and off the dance floor, trusting other people to lead is essential. And what better guide than God? Little by little, I'm learning to trust him to guide me in all areas of my life. I believe that he is our Creator and living Father and wants me to rely on him to show me the way. As for being perfect, I've also had to learn that I can't, but that's why God sent his son Jesus, who is perfect, to take my place.
Thank you to Sarah for reading this week's thought on trusting God and learning to dance. Well, that's just about all we have time for this week on Reflections. But before we go, let me tell you about our retreat on the 14th and 15th of October at Torch House in Market Harborough. This will be 2 days of worshipful spiritual refreshment where you can take time out to renew your relationship with God, enjoy fellowship with friends old and new, as we're led by Michael Mitten, the freelance writer, spiritual director and speaker. If you want to know more or would like to book a place on this, please do get in touch with our client services team by giving them a call on 01858 438 260. 01858 438 260. You can also find out more about Torch by visiting their website, torchtrust.org, or you can email info@torchtrust.org. Until next time, from me, Marilyn Baker, God bless.
Reflections from Torch Trust.